Ladies and gentlemen, welcome to the Darkstone Dossiers with your host, Anthony Darkstone.
Greetings and welcome. Buonasera a tutti. Bonne noite, buenas noches, bonsoir. Why am I using these languages? Well, if you're a regular on the Darkstone Dossiers and or our other productions from the SAM International Assembly, you will know that we have folks from all over the world and in different time zones. So also in that case, a good afternoon and good morning, whichever your time zone happens to be. We have a lot to get through, and it's no big surprise to everybody that my guest today is the next president of the Society of American Magicians, which, by the way, if you don't know, and you need to let somebody else know, you don't have to be an American citizen or reside in the USA. We have members in the SAM from pretty much everywhere and in the SAM International Assembly, as the name implies. So welcome, everybody. And let's just get straight on with the show because we do really have a lot to cover. And you're going to find it fascinating. You really are. This incoming president, the more I find out about this man, the more I'm going, yay, wow, yeah, okay. So great. One of the things usually we do in the Darkstone Dossiers, they tend to be obviously magicians like my guest, and we play little clips of them performing. We're not going to do that this time because I wanted to show you our incoming president's one of his other talents. Pretty good musician. But before I do that, I want to just quickly go over to past President Joel Zaritsky, who's also the Dean of the SAM International Assembly, who always says a very quick word of greeting and howdy.
Hey, everybody. I want to welcome you all. I'm really looking forward to today's lecture. Who really knows how to make it rain?
Yeah, we all love Rod. Here's one of the reasons why we love him. Fabulous musician. Now, some of you may have heard about this panda, and we're going to talk about it in a little bit, or rather Rod's going to talk about it, but no bamboo shoots, just Rod and the panda. Look at this.
Hi, I'm Rod Chow, and it's a pleasure to play for you on Genie, the Giant Panda Piano, Solfeggio in C minor by Bach. Thank you all.
Wow. Thank you, Rod. That was really, really great. And I bet that came as a surprise to a few folks. It did to me when I first saw it. And I went, wow, yeah, I got to have this in the show for sure. Okay. Well, let me just introduce you, in fact, for those of you who don't know him, or two of you, here he is, Mr. Rod Chow, our next most illustrious.
Thank you, Anthony. Thank you all. It's really a pleasure to be here. Great to see everyone from all parts of the world.
Great to have you with us, Rod. Kind of makes a change because usually you're in the audience, apart from a couple of times when you've been on the Darkstone Dossiers One was with somebody else, and then prior to that, it was with two. Well, I was going to say with the current president and the past one, Joel, and we chatted. That was well over a year ago. So I am personally absolutely delighted to just have you on your own. Yes, we snuck in the panda, but hey, got to. Listen, Rod, just so people know a little bit about you, etc. I just want to do a kind of mini background, and you're such a fascinating and interesting Canadian. It's kind of hard to kind of choose what to talk about and show about you. I thought it'd be a good idea to just kind of start that your start in magic really came when you were a preteen, and we have some pics because even in those early times, you were taken to Reno and Las Vegas. I think we have some, but there you are. Yeah,
There
look
I
at
am,
that. Yeah. Shutogawa, never heard of him. Look at that. You were doing that years ago. Yeah.
I was.
Yeah. Sorry, Shoot. No, yeah. Just playing, man. There you are in Reno. I mean, look at that. That, the man's just kind of already there with magic. Yeah. And sparkly things. Let's see if we can pull up another one there, Rod. Joel, there you are in your white suit. Yeah. Doing some fancy card moves. Yeah, well, gold bars and money. We'll get to that, Rod. We'll get to that. There you are in your white suit again, doing some another fancy card moves. Okay, just let's leave that up on the screen for a moment, or the next one. It doesn't matter which. Let's just have you, Rod, if you don't mind, talk about those early days for when you were literally a young boy and spent time in Reno and Vegas, etc., and which you've been through many times, I know, and then kind of went into magic and started doing that. So tell us just a little bit about those kind of early development years and influences.
Sure. And those pictures really bring up some warm memories because my parents, they used to take our family to Reno and Las Vegas very, very frequently. That's actually was their favorite vacation spot. And so we went there like more than a few times a year. And every time we go there, of course, Reno, Las Vegas, magic capitals of the world, we got to see shows, but also if you go to a casino, what are they using at the tables? They're using playing cards. And so it kind of got me interested because every time they left the casino, and they were gamblers, so they could go up to the casino host and ask for some decks of playing cards, the used ones, the cancel ones, and they would actually get them. So these were actual casino cards, of course, with the cancellation, which would be the hole or the corner cut. But they would give those to me, and those would keep adding to my collection. So I started collecting casino cards when I was very young, and that's how I got started with my interest in cards. And my interest in magic came when my mom actually took me to a magic shop in Reno, and I saw a magician perform magic over there. So a perfect match of cards and magic, Reno, Las Vegas, and then that's how it all blossomed from there when I was very young.
Yeah, indeed. Now, speaking of decks of playing cards, and I found this fascinating about you, that you have somewhere in the region of well over 1,000 decks. Is that right?
It's true. When you go to Las Vegas, Reno so many times, and they actually knew my parents quite well. So when they asked for a deck or two, they would actually give them like maybe a box sometimes, like a whole brick of cards. So I would get this brick, and I'd be very happy because a kid with all these cards and they're free, and I just kept adding them to my collection, and all from different casinos. Some of the casinos not even there anymore. So some of the cards may be very collectible, but certainly it was fun to collect them. And it just kept building and building.
Yeah, well, you actually even, I say recently, along the last few years, created your own deck of cards, which is special. And I'm deliberately not going to show them here because the backs show the building that you're in, which is your kind of office premises. Now, some folks on here will know that it is, to use the correct adjective, a very skinny building. And it's actually quite a tourist site. And if my memory serves, is in the Guinness Book of Records as well. Tell us about your building, Rod.
It's true. It's the world's skinniest building. It's only 4 feet 10 inches on the main floor. So basically, it's the width. I can stretch my arms across, and that's how wide the building is. And right now, we're actually in the building, and we're in the lower level. The lower level is actually a bit wider because it actually goes underneath the sidewalk. So right now, above me right now is actually the public sidewalk. And it's a glass. It's the glass covered. It's a glass covered ceiling. So actually, I can see people walking above me. I can see their footprints walking above me when they walk along our sidewalk. So it's very, very cool. So that's why this bottom part is wider. In the olden days, you actually used to have bathhouses down here. Before my time, you actually had to pay money to actually take a hot public bath down here. So this is where I am right now. There's no bathhouse right now, but I do have a shower. Not everyone knows about it, but there's a shower in here. Okay. All right. So because they do some performances down here, it's good to take a shower every once in a while. Now, my father, if you notice one of the earlier pictures, I was actually performing at his office party. So he's had this business here in Chinatown, Vancouver, for decades. Okay, he's been here since early days, and he actually had me perform at his office party. So he invited all of his clients and all the people he'd like to deal with, important people, VIPs, and I would go there and perform magic. And that was one of the shots that you saw in my white suit.
Right, because you also happen to collect. I know, and I found out about this when we first sort of started talking, and you very, very kindly appeared in one of the first gala shows for the SAM International Assembly. And we talked about it also with some other friends, and we were talking about what you were going to do, etc., and discovered that you have this vast collection of bow ties and jackets. I mean, you're wearing a splendid one again today. I've not seen it. I know one or two people have remarked about it. Please don't take it off, Rod, because if you do, I will come to Canada and steal it. Talk about your. You're welcome. Talk about your collection, and how'd you get started with this jackets and bow ties?
Well, as a performer, I like to be a little bit more classier than the guests, and I'm a traditionalist, so I always like the magicians that dress up really well and they wear tux and bow tie. I always like that, but I thought I'd take it a step further and go a little bit flashier as well. So I go for the little bit more unusual bow ties. I actually started collecting the wooden bow ties, and people really liked it. These are like handcrafted ties, bow ties made out of wood, and very unique because each one is individually made. So I started collecting those and different shapes, and then I started collecting other ones. Like this one here is more of a galactic look on this one. So it's got actually a star field that's actually built in, and actually it does glow. So with under black light, this one actually will glow. So this
wow!
This one, and the jacket is a little bit flashier and the blue color because of outer space, and that's part of my act as well. So I do enjoy that color. So, and also our office is a sky blue theme. As you notice in the background, we have sky background. That's actually background that we actually got from our old office, and my dad actually collected this sky wallpaper. He never used it, and we put it down here, and it's so amazing that we have this whole wall of sky down here. So when you come down here, even though you're underground, it's like you're going outside. So it's incredible down here.
Yeah, well, Las Vegas really influenced you, because those of us who've spent time there back and forth, you remember the where is it? Oh God, the V Theater, right above. There's this black night sky. Well, of course, it's artificial, right?
Yeah, that's true.
It's so cool. And somewhere in your subconscious, you went, okay, I want to take this 4-foot space and make it into kind of like the sky and the glass ceiling. I can only imagine.
That's right. Yeah, exactly.
Yeah, I can only imagine. Now, I've seen some of your wooden bow ties, and there's something to behold, to be quite honest. As you were saying, each one of those is specifically crafted and therefore unique. Were they made by the same person, Rod, or did you just kind of get them from different places? Or
they're actually made by different people. Because everyone has their own unique style. So I didn't want to have too many of the same type. So I've got a number of different ones from different artists.
Oh, right. Okay. And I know I've seen you use some of those. In fact, as I say, you've been on the gala shows and other things. And I know one of your favorite places in Vegas where you used to stay with your folks is Circus Circus. Yes?
Yes, absolutely.
Yeah, I think we've got a little still of you there, if I'm not mistaken, or something similar. If we pull it up, there it is, I think. Yeah, there you go. It's coming up on the screen now.
There it
you
is.
go.
Yeah. That's a
Yeah.
famous clown sign. It's still actually there, that clown sign.
Yeah.
And Circus Circus, as you know, is shaped like a circus tent. And they have
Right.
this arcade that you can go and walk around. It's Midway, not arcade, Midway. So you walk along Midway, and there's this magic store right in the corner that's always been there, and they always have on this loudspeaker, come in, you can learn something, you can even fool your wife, is what they were saying, all this, and it's just blasting throughout. So that really attracted people to just come in, and attracted me too to come in and watch a few tricks from the magician that was there.
I mean, back in the day, and until fairly recently, recently, probably about maybe a decade ago, my brother, who loves magic, he's not a magician, he just loves magic. I took him there for his 50th birthday, and for some reason, he'd never been to Vegas. And I said, "Where do you want to stay? Pick a place." And he went, "Circus Circus." I said, "What do you want to do that for?" And he said, "Because I've seen pictures of it and I like it." And I went, "Okay." And I was amazed to actually stay there as well as a guest, because downstairs, as you well know, Rod, they actually have a circus going on, from trapeze acts and everything else. And it was quite kind of like, oh wow, yeah, this is really something. I think we've got a couple of other shot stills of you which we pull up, and I think we'll just kind of talk a little bit about each one as it comes up.
I really love the circus acts too, because very
great acts
and high flying acts.
Yeah.
Be great.
Okay, I'm a frustrated flyer on the trapeze. Never done it. Went up there once.
Flying! Look at that. That Saturn looks like it's flying.
Yeah, it does look like it's flying. We're gonna come up and talk about that in a little bit as well again. And I'm just wondering if we have a couple of others of you somewhere. Yes, that's the one I was after. Well, by now, if people haven't figured it out, Rod is into dollar bills.
I made of money is what that was. What it was.
Made of money, gold bars. Yeah, he did an astonishing act on one of the gala shows. You can still see it on the showcase if you want the link. I mean, Joel will put it up in the chat for the showcase. Everything we've done is on there, which he did with gold bars and everything else. And now I want to talk a little bit about this for a few people who don't know what that is. And you're wearing the pin.
Yes.
And that's from dear Obie O'Brien's Folks Hotel, later known as the 4F. Now, if folks don't know, it's not just something you turn up at. For those of you who don't know, you have to be invited and of a certain standard to be invited, and an even higher standard to actually perform something there. So I think you've been there, what, once, twice, Rod? Or I can't recall, actually.
It's actually 13 times now.
Oh, there you go. Yeah, that'll be more than once. Yeah.
So I've performed there for more than 3 times, and I've actually earned my PhD at the 4F. And there's Sean Farquhar, of course. He was one of the guest honors before, so he's really well known. He always closes the last show of the convention.
Mm-hmm.
And it's so amazing.
Well, and quite rightly so.
My mentor, Sean Farquhar.
Yes, I know. I was going to talk to you about that. You've had some wonderful people, in fact, helping you to direct and so on. And Sean is the dean of your current SAM assembly, 95. Did I get that right?
You got it right. Yes.
Yeah. Thank you.
95.
95, and that is your personal, if you like, assembly. Very shortly, you're going to be a member of all the assemblies,
right?
Obviously, as president. But that one, you've done a lot of work for that assembly. I know you've fundraised, you've done tons of stuff, and everyone I've spoken to has just been so complimentary about your hard work and devotion to that assembly and the things that you've done for it. And even unbeknown to some people here, you've given up a lot of your time to come on and do talks for the general SAM and for other assemblies, etc., with some wonderful ideas and thoughts on that. Sean, of course, as our International Assembly members will know, is one of our charter members for the International Assembly, and a tremendous help. I was going to say something, but I don't want to spoil the surprise. I'll keep quiet. for next week. I think you've figured out what it is, right? But anyway, having said all of that, you've been there influenced by some remarkable people. The assembly is named after none other than the legendary Lon Mandrake, and his son, I believe, is the president. Tell us a little bit about your assembly, because I think this is kind of important, how you see your assembly, what you all done in there, particularly you, and how you're going to be extending that, if you like, to the greater world of the SAM.
Sure. So Assembly number 95 is Vancouver, BC, Canada. It's actually not named after Lon Mandrake's father. Lon Mandrake is the longest running, has been the longest running Assembly president of Assembly number 95, which was founded by Sean Farquhar, and Sean Farquhar named it after one of his idols, the famous Carl Hemian. So it's actually called the Carl Hemian Assembly number 95. And so that's back over 30 years ago is when he named it. And this Assembly number 95 is actually how I got into the SAM. And I'm a strong believer of the assembly system, which the SAM has actually established, basically. So back in Houdini days, he founded so many assemblies, and those assemblies still thrive today. So I really believe that this is one of the strong points of the SAM, that they have this assembly structure. And so it helped me a lot, because by coming into Assembly number 95, I met all these magicians who became friends, and they helped me along, and we always were sharing things, and also give me the opportunity to perform with other magicians. Before, I wasn't performing for other magicians, I was performing on my own. I didn't even know like these things existed. I didn't know the SAM even existed until Lon Mandrake actually brought me into the assembly. So he invited me in. I was so enthralled by what was going on that I became a member. And one of the conditions was you have to be an SAM national member before you become an assembly member. So I did join SAM national, and that's the history, because all these years the assembly has benefited like all the members, including myself. And I put back into the assembly by being assembly president, assembly secretary, and also creating the system that we've actually shared with other, with the SAM as well, to fundraise to actually have your membership dues paid for by your own assembly. So I actually have that the video on that, and also have a handbook on that. So that could be always looked up. But yeah, so I really, I owe a lot to Assembly number 95. I know there are a few members here that joined in on the Darkstone Dossiers today. And I saw Glenn Labar, who mentioned that he's actually my coach. So Sean Farquhar was my mentor, and still is my mentor. And then Glenn Labar continues to be my coach and helps me actually develop the act, practice the act, and do certain things like that to make sure that it's actually refined.
Yes, because I apologize for getting it wrong, because I had Leon Mandrake in my mind, and of course the great Lon Mandrake. But yes, you're right. It's called assembly. Naturally, of course. Yeah, it was my mistake. I apologize.
That's okay, no problem. But speaking of Leon Mandrake, Leon Mandrake is going to be honored by me, and this is coming out soon anyway, so it's actually never been announced yet. But soon you'll be getting membership cards. Every year, SAM produces membership cards with the magician that the current president wishes to honor. So I've chosen to honor Leon Mandrake, who is the father of Lon Mandrake, because of what he's done for magic over all these years. He was very prominent in the vaudeville days, and basically he epitomizes showmanship and creativity. So I'm so proud to honor Leon Mandrake. So since you mentioned Leon Mandrake, I thought, yeah, I would mention that he is the magician that I am honoring in my year of presidency.
Well, thank you for sharing this with us, Rod. This is kind of an exclusive today. I'm sure thank you. It'll go round in due course. And yes, of course, you're absolutely right. And some of us in my age range have been around for a little while, know the exploits of, the great Mandrake. So I'm not going to push you on what you're going to be doing, etc. Everybody will find out about that in good time, Now, one of the things, and I think you actually, when you appeared on a show, it was a kind of spin-off from the Darkstone Dossiers. You appeared on a show with one of our members from Texas, Austin Moody, who incidentally will also be in the gala show next week, which we'll talk about in a minute. And he was like, no, I don't want to compete. I'm not interested in competing, etc. And during the course of that show, you didn't actually persuade him or do anything, but by the way you were speaking, he then came back to me and went, wow, yeah, I think I'm going to compete, having listened to what Rod said. Would you be kind enough to share your thoughts on entering competitions? Different people have different views on it. You, in fact, before you share your thoughts, I don't think I'd be wrong in using the word expert. You are an expert on entering competitions and winning. Here you are with a couple of stills, which we will pull up. One of them where you're surrounded by all your awards. That one is the Carl
Henning Award.
one, yeah. Then we have another one where you're surrounded by several others, if I'm not, yeah, there they are. Look at that.
Yeah.
Look at that. I mean, not bad. And look, you were only 12 at the time.
Yeah.
No, seriously. I mean, just look at that. There are not many people who can claim that. All of these came from performances. They came from entering competitions. So give us your take, not necessarily as the incoming president, but as a performer, what your take is on entering competitions. Like I said, different people have different views. What's yours, Rod?
Well, I think that competitions gives you that experience to actually be in front of an audience and in front of peers as well, your magician peers, because when you do magic competitions, it's not generally in front of a lay audience, it's in front of an audience of magicians, probably the toughest audience that you're going to face on one aspect, but also on the other aspect, probably the most encouraging audience you're going to face. So I would not say that some people could say that kind of shy to perform in front of magicians. Sure, they may be tough on you and that's to your benefit because they're giving you feedback. But basically, they're there to cheer you on and they want to see you do well. So whether you win or lose a competition, it's just to have that ability to perform in front of magicians. I think is very, very important. So when I started performing, when I was first coming into magic clubs, so one of the first magic clubs I actually went to was the Vancouver Magic Circle, which actually was an IBM club, and I was they actually have competitions every month. So I entered a number of the competitions. I didn't win them initially, but I finally won the close-up competition. And it was just, I was so proud to actually win a competition and say that I was a Vancouver close-up champion for that year. So it's great to win, but if you don't win, and no one's going to win every single competition. I never won every single competition. So, but if you don't win, it encourages you to come back and develop your act so that you can actually make it better. So maybe the next time you have a better chance at winning. And by entering competition, it also gives you the ability to be so creative, because if you don't have that pressure, if you're just doing shows, and you put together a set and you may be satisfied with that set, but it becomes kind of stagnant. But if you go for competition, you have to actually take it to the next level. And take it to the next level in order to actually do well means to be creative. And means to put a lot of work into it. Means to put a lot of practice into it. Means to actually do it in front of other people first, do it in front of your friends first, and just work it until you're ready. And it also means that you're not going to go right into an international competition right away. You're going to go up the ladder. You're going to start locally, and you're going to get that feedback. And if you win those, then maybe go into regional competitions, then maybe into a national competition, and then think about going to international competition. So as long as you go up the ladder, that progression, I think that is one way to develop yourself so that after all that, you become better, you feel better yourself that you've actually gone through the process, and you get the accolades from all your peers. And you also have some titles to actually go along with, with all the effort you put into it. So when you do that, it's not just by yourself, though. You actually have to give credit to people along the way that help you. And assembly, Magic Club helped a lot. And the people within my assembly helped a lot. And then afterwards, performing on a broader basis, I've had other help as well. The current act, I've had some help from J. Scott Berry. He's been helping me a lot with the current Astrology Act to bring it to a level of excellence and perfection. And a lot of the magic in that act, Shaw and Farquhar helped me develop. And then all the meticulous parts of it, Glenn LeBar actually worked with me to get every little meticulous part perfect in there. So all the props working perfectly, and to put in enough practice, because it's like this is, I think this is one thing is that you, and Sean actually told me this, you create an act, you got to do it 1,000 times, and you have to be super comfortable with it. And once you're super comfortable with it, then you don't change it. You just keep doing that same act over and over again. And that's when you have an act that you have, you have a chance of being proud of it for one thing, but also to have the ability to actually do well in a competition.
Oh, absolutely. I think, we could probably just have a show with you just talking about the benefits and merits of, entering a competition. And more importantly, all the things that go before. I mean, you spoke about Glenn LeBar, you spoke about John Farquhar, you spoke about other people who, have come in as coaches, mentors, be it full or part-time. And I think this is important. I mean, I'm going to take a moment here of your time to say that I am a great believer in having a mentor and certainly a director. And my comparison to that, when people kind of go, oh, well, no, hold on a minute. Nobody gives Tom Cruise or Meryl Streep $35-45 million a movie and says, yeah, just go do it, right? They have a script writer, they have someone checking the script, they have lighting, they have sound, and most of all, they have a director. And depending on the role you're playing, before you even shoot a single inch of film, you may have a voice coach to teach you, because if you're playing a German and you're there in a Nebraskan accent, it's just not going to work. So they bring in a coach to do that. So there's all these elements come together. None of these people are teaching Tom Cruise or Meryl Streep, I just use them as examples, how to act. My phrase is what to act. What to act. I've just seen a nice message come up from Glenn, who talks about you being a perfectionist and dedicated. And yes, you're right. I mean, in the time we've got to know each other, which is probably about a couple of years now, I've seen that. And you also see that in other people and appreciate the work that goes into creating good showbiz, which, magic is part of. You can't just go there. Well, I suppose you can, because people do it, and go, well, here's my 15-minute set and a couple of tricks. And great. Fine, if that's what you want, right? If that's what you want. But the real essence of magic as a performance art has got to be having all these people in, taking from each one of them where they're, I guess, kind of not telling you what to do or how to do it, but showing you the methodology, not just of how you perform the effect, but the methodology behind it. And then along the way, as you have proved, and I'm living witness to it, with your visual, your scripting, how you've worked on that, and, tiny little nuances to change. And it's not just, oh, well, I'm just going to get a couple of magic effects and perform them. You look outside of magic to take your inspiration. For example, and I have posted about this, you're very much a student of astronomy, of astrology. You've now begun to take a great interest in the tarot. Talk to us a little bit about these outside interests that help you do better magic.
Sure. And first of all, I want to thank you for saying that about the director, voice coach, and all that's needed to put everything together. That's really well said. You really summarized that really well. In fact, talking about director, when I was auditioning to become a member of the Magic Circle, the London Magic Circle, and they have a process where you actually have to take an exam So Anthony here actually directed me with my act to make it so that it would be actually an act that could actually qualify to actually be accepted.
You're very welcome.
And he did so thank you for that. And in fact, I did qualify after Anthony's direction on that. So I think direction is actually important because you can't see everything yourself. Like even you look in the mirror, you do a video, you can't see it yourself. And so you need a director, and that's important. Voice coach is also important. In fact, after my last competition, that was one of the feedback items that I should get a voice coach, which I did, and it actually helped a lot with the breathing exercises, with the preparation before you actually go on stage. You have to do some prep exercises with your voice, and talk naturally. So all that is important. So listen to what other people are saying. Listen to the feedback and act on it. And because you do need that, you cannot do well in your own bubble. You actually have to go outside that and draw upon the people that are there to help you. And if you're in assembly, that's what the thing about assembly is. Everyone's there to share. And thank you, Glenn, for your kind comments on that, being perfectionist, which I am, and I'm glad.
Nothing wrong with that. Nothing wrong with that.
But you need to, for a coach, you actually work with a perfectionist. You have to actually have that stamina to be able to do that too, because it takes a while. I know he's been working hours and hours with me to get it perfect. So a coach has to spend the time. So a mentor will give the ideas and give the technical part of it, help with the direction. Coach actually has to work with you, just like an Olympic coach. He has to spend those hours and hours of working with that athlete.
Yep, exactly. So I've told this story before, but in case some of you have not heard it, I was maybe 25 years ago, something like that, in my 50s. And we had this gig, which was really good, very well paying. And it was all kind of like masks and a big cloak. And it was all kind of, all this stuff, very sorcery like. And I have two directors. One of them is actually my son. He doesn't do magic anymore, but he's pretty good and won quite a lot of things. And the other one is a mutual friend of ours, which some of us know, dear Mark Williams down in Vegas. I'll never do anything without running past him. What do you think? And he'll go, move that, turn a little bit to the left, that kind of thing. So anyway, I remember this gig, and my son looked at it and went, Dad, nah. I said, why? Well, it's great. It's happening. And, because I'm a very theatrical type performer, as you know. And he said, nah. And I said, no, it's great. He said, Dad, you may think it's great in your head. The problem is that this act is for someone who's 25, 30. You're 55. You're moving like a 55-year-old guy. Audiences may not know about kinesics, but they pick up on that. Same as we do, picking up on, shall we say, an average guitar player compared to, let's say, Stevie Ray Vaughan. They're playing the same chords, but there's something different about Stevie Ray Vaughan, for example, or Eric Clapton, yes? So I kind of stopped and listened, and I went, yeah, you're right. In my mind, I'm fairly fit, did martial arts, blah, 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 all that stuff. I'm still moving well in my mind, but looking at it, and you're so right. My suggestion, and I think you and I have spoken on this before, Rod, amongst other people like Kent Never and other great names. Nowadays, you have video. You can video yourself several times and watch what you're doing. But as Rod, you have rightly said, you may be the jury, but you're definitely not the judge of it. No. You need someone qualified who knows what to look for. They may not be able to perform, 45 backflips, but they understand kinesics and stagecraft and go, no, that's leaning too much to the left. The elbow is too far bent that way. Make the focus frame over here, right? When the cards are being framed, there should be. Would you agree with some of that?
I totally agree with that. And getting back to what your story about your son, I think that's great that you have a son that could be honest with you and give you that feedback. Because who else is going to give you that feedback? No one's going to tell you that. You need someone like your son, not afraid to tell you that. So it's good that he did that, and then you learn from that. So you're not going to scold your son for
no.
Oh, you're going to learn from that, right?
Yeah, right.
Yeah, so that's a great thing. And so so I totally agree with what you're saying about that and direction. And then you need someone else from outside to actually check it then, because you don't know everything yourself, and you can't see it from other people's point of view. You can see it from your point of view, but you need to see it from other people's point of view.
Yeah, you're right. You can't be objective about yourself. I mean, you can, but there are limitations.
Exactly.
And as I've often said, and you and I have spoken about this, and we have agreed, but I think it's useful to bring it up in the context of how your magical thinking works, which is why I'm bringing it up, so people understand how your magical thinking works. And that is, critique is not the same as criticism. A critique is useful. Criticism could be, like somebody goes, well, I don't like this piece of art. What's that got to do with anything?
That's right. No, you don't want to, you want to be constructive in your criticism.
Right.
If you're going to do criticism, but you also want to maybe suggest a solution if you're going to give a critique as well. So
yeah, absolutely. Yeah. Like turning to someone saying, listen, I don't know what you need to do here, but your movement is not quite right. Go and talk to someone who knows about kinesics or a dance instructor.
It's all about positive feedback. And so I think that's important. If you're going to, same with me, I can actually give positive feedback to someone else, right? So it works both ways.
Yes, it does. Yes, it does. Someone who is a very, very famous, well-known magician, I'm not going to mention his name, he's also a member of our assembly. I remember in Vegas once he came back and everybody was like, yeah, whatever. And I said, what's wrong with you? And he went, nah. And I said, what's wrong? What's up? And he said, didn't feel right. And I said, yeah, I know. He said, oh, you spotted that? And I said, yeah, I spotted that. Mm. He said, I don't know what to do. I said, well, I can tell you. He said, what's that? I said, shoes. He said, what? I said, shoes. You're wearing the old style, tails with the tucks. And he needed the tails because he was going to do the silk to, or the dove to silk. You need tails for that. For those of you who don't know what I'm talking about, well, I'm awfully sorry, I'm not going to tell you. You got to find out. But anyway, it's a silk to dove, or the dove to silk rather. And he said, shoes? What are you talking about? I got great shoes to match everything. I said, yeah, that's your problem. Have somebody put an extra 1/2 to 3/4 of an inch on the heels and put some lifts inside, because what you're doing at certain times, you're not feeling comfortable. You're doing all the regular choreography, but your body and back is in the kind of slightly off position. And that's why you don't feel right. So he did that, and that's all it is. That's all it was. The act was flawless. It just needed him to feel that it was, perfect. So very often a mentor, a coach, a director, or even a good friend who knows will spot something and go, no, bend your elbow a little bit more, or,
You wouldn't think it's anything, but every little detail counts, and that little detail, that little 1/2 an inch, that made the difference. So don't discount anything. Don't discount anything.
His body, instead of being like this, because when you're wearing boots, you move forward, boop, like that, right? Without going into too many details, right? I always wear boots on stage. They're either Cuban heels or some type of boots, so that I'm forced to do that. I cannot slouch even if I forget. Yeah. So I'm not consciously thinking, well, I stand up here. I've just had
that's important. Your stage presence is important. So you gotta, you gotta be properly,
I'm chuckling because I just had a wonderful message from our dean of all the SAM, George Schindler, dear Uncle George.
Hi, George.
He's let's see some magic. Not yet, George. Not yet. You will. Not yet. It's not really a magic show. Next week, George. Next week, I'm going to show you magic. We'll show you magic next week for sure. Anyway, I have to tell you. It's lovely to have George. Lovely man. I have to say this to you. You mentioned the Vancouver Magic Circle. I know when we initially approached the Magic Circle, you were smart enough to actually, as you say, you mentioned it. I wasn't going to bring it up, but you mentioned it. Thank you. I appreciate that. And we had some sessions, and I said, yeah, when you take your exam, it's not the same as doing an act. There are certain things that they're looking for, right? Yes. So think about this, think about that, whatever. And I know you are very well thought of at the Magic Circle. Don't ask me how I know that. I just do. Okay, that's it. I know. And I know a lot of people there are absolutely delighted that you're the incoming most illustrious. This is why I think immediately when you went in there, boom, your exam was there and you went straight into MMC. That was it. that was it. I mean, there's no ifs and buts about it. And I hear a whisper, in fact, that amongst your travels in the next year, you may well be traveling to England and popping your head in there as well to say hello and have people buy you drinks at the bar.
Yes, absolutely. So it would be a good experience to actually visit the Magic Circle headquarters in London, and I plan to do that.
Well worth doing for anybody. If you've not done it, do it. Find a friend who's a member and ask them to bring you in as a guest. And it's just absolutely astonishing to do that. Let me take you into a little bit of, you've had tons of press and TV, and you've been there, you've done it. It's that simple. You've got the T-shirt, you don't even wear it, so that's how good you are. But one of the important things is, and I could be wrong on this, but I don't know of anybody who's been on the MUM cover twice. You were on it back in April 2007. There you go.
That's right.
Oh, look, Rod, just for a change, you've got money in your hand.
Yes.
And you're going to be on the cover again in July, right?
Right, I will be as the president of the SAM.
Right.
Yeah, I don't know if anyone's been on it more than once or more than twice. So
I don't know
comment
either.
on that. So it's possible, So, but I was quite honored to be actually on the cover back in April 2007, and anytime you're on the cover is indeed a privilege. So
absolutely.
Yeah. So thanks.
I know we've got a couple of people here in the audience. I know immediately Donna Horn, for example, who's here. She was on the cover sometime after me. I was, when was it? January 2001, I believe. It is an honor. It is a privilege. It really rocks your socks, man. When somebody tells you all about it and everything, you're kind of like, wow, yeah, great. But when that issue lands in your hands, I don't care who you are, where you've been, what you've done. You're like a little kid going, whoa, look at that. It's just unbelievable. And, number of members in our assembly, Suzanne the Magician, Stephen Marshall, several people have all been on the cover of MUM. So basically in a few weeks, if you don't get your hard copy and you've elected to look at it online, please go to magicsam.com just before the first week of July or thereabouts, or shortly after. It'll be up there, and then you can go and read a little bit more about Rod.
Yes, it's going to be a really great story. I won't give it away right now. I'd like you to read it. And it tells a bit about what I've done in the past and my interests. And there was one interest that you brought up about astronomy, astrology. I didn't actually cover that yet. We went in a different direction. So I can just quickly mention that, my astrology act that I currently do was because I actually had this interest in astrology. I actually took certification course to become a astrologer. So actually I'm a certified astrologer. So that's the finish of my act there, where we have basically all the planets in our solar system on one little table. And I produce those planets and do things magical with them throughout my act. And if you look at the wheel in the front there, that is actually the astrology wheel, where all the 12 zodiac signs are actually on that wheel, which actually rotates actually. So it's really cool that I can talk about that and then do magic at the same time. So I thought it would be great that I could combine astrology, because astrology is also to do with astronomy, which is about the planets. And they're two different fields, right? Astrology and astronomy. So you really don't mix them up, but I actually do mix them up a bit. So, which is a kind of unique thing. So I've got astronomy and astrology combined together into what actually Anthony coined as an astro act.
Yeah,
and
I did.
You did coin an astro act, right? So,
so
it's an astro act because it's astronomy and astrology combined together with magic. And so that's very unique. Everyone's told me that act is definitely unique, and I know it's unique because I developed it from scratch, and because of my everything in there is actually true because of my studies of astrology. So all the information I give you and all the lessons that I teach you actually within the 8 minutes of the act are actually true astrology lessons. So I'm very proud of that. And then there was tarot reading as well. So that's all kind of part of estochic, or
Esoteric.
Esoteric.
Yeah.
It's the esoteric field. And so I actually have amassed an incredible collection of tarot cards, probably 80 to 100 decks of tarot cards.
Wow.
Right now, yeah, quite incredible. And I've actually become a certified tarot reader as well. So I can combine those things together.
Yeah. Listen, Rod, have the lottery numbers for next week with your tarot?
Lottery numbers. Tarot readers have.
No, I know. I'm playing with you.
Instruction not to predict lotto numbers.
I'm playing with you.
I want to ask Lawman Drake. He actually tends to do that.
No, if you know about my mischievous sense of humor, and of course, indeed, international envoy for the SAM International Assembly for the Isle of Man, Michael Kelly, is chuckling away. I know, because
he's a tarot reader.
And then some runes and everything else. And before I get sidetracked, I just want to tell everybody, and I'm sure Joel will do this, I've asked him before, to put the link up for the showcase. The showcase has pretty much every Darkstone dossier, every gala show. Go to, I think it's on page 3, if it's not, it's on page 2, whatever, and look for the gala show with Rod in it, where he's doing what I call the Astro Act, because that's what it says to me. J. Scott Berry referred to it once or twice as celestial sorcery. That's also not a bad description, let's be honest, right?
Yes.
But if you've not seen it, just go to the link that be put up in chat, search for it. I promise you faithfully that, you know, I'll bet you $1,000 of Rod's money. That if you don't,
my money?
Hey, Rod, come on. Hey, you know,
I got enough of it. Okay, that's fine. That's fine.
You got.
I made it money, right? Yeah.
Yeah, you are. I've seen that machine of yours, Rod. Yeah, we're going to be using some of that next Saturday as well, believe it or not. But anyway, long story short, Joel put that up in the chat, and if you really, I'm not saying this because he's here. Okay, I'm really not. You will understand if you've seen it, and you will understand why I'm saying it after you see it. Go and find it and watch it. I was kind of half joking about, you know, I'll give you $1,000 if you don't enjoy it. It's that everything about it is so incredibly original, and dare I use this word that's misused a lot, magical. It really is magical. It's astro sorcery.
Thank you, Anthony.
Welcome. Beautifully delivered. Everything about that act, the effects, the timing, the visual, the stagecraft, everything about it. And the even better thing about it is that it comes across over Zoom, which is a very tough thing to do with an act like that. Very hard. This is why I don't actually do a lot of performing over Zoom, because the type of things that I do just don't play well over Zoom. The TV studio, yes. Live audiences, yes. But this act of Rod's, you know, am I plugging it? Damn right I am, because it's superb. Well, to give you an idea, I mean, don't raise your hands because I can't see it, or raise your hand if you've never heard the name Jack Goldfinger. That's probably easier to do. Well, for those of you who don't know, or 2 of you, Jack is the entertainment director at the Castle. And to paraphrase a quote of his, outstanding. You set a bar and exceeded it. That's Jack Goldfinger. Okay, I'll give you $1,000 if you can figure out who he's talking about. Yes, it's my guest, Rod. That's what Jack Goldfinger said. What? Now, when somebody like Jack Goldfinger says something like that, then you pretty much know whatever you're watching is on the right track. You're on the right track. Okay, before we talked about the awards and so on. Sitting very quietly there is a little thing you acquired on your last trip to Vegas about 6 months ago at the Venetian. Right behind you, there's a globe.
Yes, that is a globe. That's the world.
Yeah.
Because.
Do you mind to pick it up, Rod, and I'll do a quick magic.
Absolutely.
Yeah, there you go. There you go. That's it. Yeah. Tell us about, I know about it, but please share. It has some very interesting aspects about it.
Yes, actually it does, because this globe is entirely made out of crystal. And the crystal that you can see within each continent is actually the crystal of that country. So the native crystal of the country is actually embedded within the continent. And so that's why it's so unique. So you look at the country, and then each one has a different crystal associated with it. And so I got this because my theme for my upcoming presidency is We Welcome the World. And this is the world because the SAM is a worldwide association. And right now, we actually do have members from all over the world, and we want to build upon that. So this is what we're going to be doing. We welcome the world.
Yes, indeed. And I could tell you without revealing too many things in the gala show next week, which we're going to give you a little taste of in the meet and greet before we get to things. We have performers, as you will see, from different parts of the world. And also helping me on that, it would be one of them is the gentleman I mentioned, the Manx sorcerer, as I like to call him, Michael Kelly from the Isle of Man. We have people from Morocco. We have people from, I'm trying to remember now, Portugal, where all else? South Africa, Ireland. Well, anyway, you'll see in the little clip that we're gonna put up in a little bit. So and the title of this gala show, I always like to give them a title, and this one, what else could it be? We welcome the world. So do come and join us. It starts a little bit earlier, which is 3 p.m. Eastern, 8 p.m. UK. Have a look at Google. I will be posting the Zoom links. I've been working very, very, very hard on that. I say we because I've had enormous, wonderful, incredible help. I cannot thank him enough from our International Assembly Envoy for Canada, Dr. Michael Leakey. So he has been just tremendous in all the behind the scenes and back stuff and, loose ends and everything else. Yeah, everything else. Just amazing. And of course, Joel, as always, will be our Zoom maester, and he'll be manning all of the different things. Who else did I leave out? People from Malta. Everybody in the cast, by the way, of every gala show I've produced is a member of the International Assembly. I don't go outside for talent because we have so much within our own assembly, which is basically there for anyone. And can I quickly add, if you have friends in the US or living outside, many of them don't know that they can join the SAM. They think, oh, I've got to be an American or I've got to live in the US. Nothing could be further from the truth. I would urge you to ask them to do that fairly quickly, because as of 1 July, if you join from outside of the US, there's a little small extra charge for mailing out your certificate and PIN, which is fair enough. It's very tiny, it's insignificant. But up until July 1st, we met with the SAM administrator and said, yeah, that's right. We the postage is horrendous when it goes out. So please encourage them. Ask them to get in touch with me, get in touch with Michael Leakey, and in a moment, I'm going to introduce you to some of our other assembly envoys. Just do that. Just a simple message on Facebook will get to me if you want. And I'm very, very happy to give you the details and tell you how to go about it if you wish, or you have friends that do. And you might say, yeah, but I'm already an SAM member. Well, we have a wonderful gentleman that I met through the Paranormal Investigation Committee, and it's my long lost brother, Tom Messerol, and we're like click on martial arts, magic, you name it. Known him for 1,000 years, met him a few months ago. And he came to me and he said, look, can I join the assembly? I live in the States, but I don't actually have a local assembly. And I went, wow, yeah, great. Consider yourself in. So yes. So there's a lot of people like that. And you may know people that for whatever reason, the SAM, I used to belong, but I don't anymore. Well, go and have a word with them. If you can't, send them to me. I'll have a word with them. Right? I'm absolutely delighted to say that, we've spoken with people and say, look, this is what's happening. This is what we're doing. These are all the benefits, come on in back. I mean, whatever your reason for leaving, forget all about that. Come on back in again. The beer's cold and, everything's great. So just come on in. So would you,
Anthony, I do have to commend you for building the international memberships through your marketing efforts and also through the International Assembly. I'm pleased to see so many members of the International Assembly here. And as with all the Darkstone Dossiers and all the programming that you put on, we do get members from all over the world that actually come and participate. And so kudos to you for actually making that happen. And also for building the International Assembly, basically from very small numbers to the numbers that it is today. And you've actually won a number of SAM Assembly Growth Awards along the way for that. I was pleased to present you with those awards. And so keep up the excellent work. And this is one way that we're going to actually continue to build the international presence of the SAM. Through members like yourself in International Assembly and through efforts of Anthony Darkstone and other people that envoys and other people that will encourage people from outside of the USA as well as national membership as well. So we're going to build both national and international to make the SAM a stronger, better, bigger place.
Absolutely, Rod. Thank you. Thank you for that. And thank you for your kind words about me. I have to say two things in response to that. The first one is that as first VP, you have been extraordinarily encouraging, both publicly and privately, in helping that happen. So thanks and kudos to you. And secondly, to all the people who stepped up to the plate and said, yeah, I'm happy to become an International Assembly envoy, which is just a nice way of saying, you know, you're a representative. I never liked the word representative. It doesn't sound right. Yeah, it sounds like you've got toothbrushes in a suitcase and you're going around door to door. Envoy sounds much nicer. And why not? Because we have titles like ambassador in the SAM. So envoy, and that came about just very, very quickly before we wrap up. Very quickly is when dear Mark Waithouse was president. I was doing some gigs in Singapore and a lecture some years ago when he was president at the time. You'll remember when. And I went to him and I said, look, this international deputy thing is just not, people don't get it. They don't understand what it means. I don't understand what it means. Would it be okay if I said I was an international envoy? And he went, yeah, great, let's do it, no problem. Oh, well, okay, fine. And everything we've done, and even during Joel's term as president, and he soon after became the dean, I mean, yeah, that's a logic thing to do. I grabbed him for the assembly before anyone else did as the dean. So I would run it past him and he was like, yeah, great idea, let's just do it. So I've got to thank these people in Finland, the Isle of Man, Morocco, South Africa, Malta. God, I'm going to miss somebody else out. Portugal. They're all over. England. I mean, Kevin Peel and Paul Abbey. We have two in England, because it's so vast. They've been working very, very hard on this. And in the sidelines, one of our charter members, a dear friend of mine, Catherine Rhodes, who is now the vice president of the Magic Circle, is always encouraging. And we have a ton of people from MIMCs with gold stars, AIMCs with silver stars, MMCs, and even apprentices at the moment who are members of this assembly. And the idea, as Rod has said, if I can borrow from him and his phrase, we welcome the world. Simple as that. What do they need to do to join? A, be a SAM member or join. How much does it cost? $55. Yeah, great. No, I meant for the year. Yeah, right. That is for the year. What? Yeah, $55 for the year. That's it, right? That's it. You've got a string of benefits, which if you really want to know about, and if you don't already, just ask. I mean, the new website coming up and the assembly soon after Rod becomes president, etc., is going to launch its own international website, which will link to the main SAM website. So we've got a couple of really cool things planned. So if you want to become a member and you're an SAM member, yeah, come join us. Great. Always wonderful to have your experience and talent with us. You can belong to more than one assembly, by the way, if you're interested. I found that out from John Sturt. He said, oh no, people can join as many assemblies as they like. How much does it cost to join the SAM International Assembly? As all our members will tell you, it's very expensive. Zero, zilch, nada. We don't charge any dues, nothing. That's it. You pay your $55 for the SAM, become a member, and you can become a member of our assembly, and we don't charge you for anything. It's that simple. Our aim is to just bring magic, and you have no idea how much I love Rod's presidential phrase, we welcome the world. That is my aim. And I couldn't have thought of a better phrase. And that's going to help us to spread magic and, get really good people in. And indeed, as I mentioned earlier, people like Tom Messerall, great, lovely guy, who said, I don't have an assembly, can I join yours? I said, yeah, great, love to have you. You're American, you live in the States, you're already an SAM member. So this is what it's all about. This is what it's all about. I'm sorry. Yeah, am I plugging this? Short answer is yes, I am, because I'm passionate and excited and I want to go forward with it. I'm not going to hide my passion. I really am not.
No, thank you for your passion. I mean, that's always appreciated, Anthony. So, and I also saw that little slide pop up, We Welcome the World. That slide, that logo there was designed by Matthew Crabtree and Dal Sanders, marketing. And coming up actually in July is when we'll actually be having our SAM meeting. And I think that slide refers to that as well, because this will be the first SAM meeting that will be held outside of the USA. It's going to be held in Quebec City, Canada. And it's just going to be right before FISM starts. And this is the first FISM that's ever been in North America. So it's your opportunity to actually go to an SAM meeting in Canada for one thing, but also to attend FISM for another thing, because if you're in North America, it's as closest that FISM is ever going to be for you. If of course you're in Europe, you've probably been to a lot of FISMs, and it's still great to maybe even come over to North America as a trip, because you've always stayed in Europe and gone to those FISMs. Come to Quebec City. It's beautiful, beautiful. Canada, Quebec City, a beautiful country to visit. Quebec City has 400 years of history. And so we do welcome everyone to come and from all over the world. And I would like to greet people in person there at the SAM National Council meeting weekend. That's where we'll have the installation banquet, and we'll have a tour there as well. And we'll have some other special activities. So that's the weekend just before FISM starts. So please, if you haven't looked into that, go to our website, the SAM Magic Sound website, and that will give you full details on Quebec 2022. To get to Canada right now, we actually relaxed some of the rules. There's still some rules in place. You don't have to be tested anymore. You do have to be fully vaccinated, and you do have to. We actually have a very high-tech app that you actually can download to your smartphone, and it's called ArriveCan. And all you do is download it, and then you just answer those questions on there. It's just basic health questions, and upload your vaccination status. And then when you reach the border, it's all done, right? They just check to make sure that you've completed the app. And you get a little QR code, and then you're pretty well set to come over. So that link is also there. So check that out, and please make it a trip. Come to Canada, and I really love to see you. Even in Quebec, but you come to Vancouver, that's another thing too. That's where I am. But either place, it's all Canada. So come visit me here in Canada, and I'm really happy to meet you in person.
Ask me about Canada, Rod.
How do you like Canada there, Anthony?
Yeah, it's got maple syrup. It's got Sean Farquhar. It's got
yes,
you.
Absolutely.
Yeah, man, I tell you, I had never been, and I fell in love with it because we did I did a lecture for the Oregon SAM Assembly, and then different Michael, not Michael Leakey, but different Michael, who was managing my tour and everything else, said to me, do you want to go up to Canada and do a lecture there? And I went, yeah, okay, you tell me what to do, I'm just going to do it. So he organized it, and then we went up right up to, I can't remember where it was, by car, and then we took this ferry over to BC. I almost cried when I had to leave. And I just loved it so much. And the Magic Club's there. And I'm going to brag a little bit. I'm not bragging. I'm just so proud of this. I cannot even begin to put it into words. It's the only time it's ever happened. When I finished my lecture, some of you will know him, the great Tony Eng. He was there in the front row. He jumped up and gave me a standing O, and everybody else joined him. I've never had that in a lecture, ever. That's why I love Canada. Tell me about it. Yeah, blessings for his memory. He's no longer with us.
Yes,
but
yes,
as Rod will know, his daughter Julie is
yes, Julie.
something of a legend herself.
Yes, Julie is doing really well, and
well.
she is promoting magic and care in Canada. So, but Tony, the late Tony Ng, well-respected magician, really amazing person. So
Yeah, amazing. He had the joke shop, and I think he had already sold it when I got there to Murray. Yeah.
Right,
I
right.
think
Yes,
Murray now owns it. But anyway, so if you ever go to Vancouver, well, you can stand outside or walk above the basement of the skinniest building and wave to Rod. But if you go to Quebec, you get to join the SAM National Council meeting and actually see Rod initiated as the president. How cool is that? How cool is that?
That's right.
How cool is that? And then a couple of days later, you got FISM, right? So yeah.
Yes.
So
and magicians from all over the world will be coming there. So
yes. Okay. Well, Rod, end words. I like end words.
Good. Yeah.
I learned that from John Rockebarmer. Yeah. End words. What, if any? I mean, they could just be 2 words, right? It's up to you. Or 100, I don't mind. End words. You're my guest. It's been a delight to have you. We haven't even covered a smidgen of who and what you are and all that you intend to do for the future. But I did want to give people an opportunity to kind of get to know you a little bit, because you're a very, very, very approachable man, and an extremely nice man. And what can I say? And no, Rod, you don't have to send me any money. I meant what I just said. So what are your end words, Rod?
Well, it's really been a privilege to have this talk with you today and to share some of my life and some of my experiences with the audience here, and then for people that are going to be watching later on. And you're right, we haven't covered everything. There's a lot more to cover. It would take a lot longer, but I'm so glad that you gave me this opportunity. Thank you for mentioning accolades that people have given to me. You mentioned Jack Goldfinger. I do have to say that J. Scott Berry and Meadow Perry were on that same show with me as well, and they did really well, and they shared accolades as well. So it's so great to come into this position as national president in July and be able to lead this organization, which I respected and I've actually been so passionate about for over 3 decades, and to give back to you as members of the SAM. So I want you to feel that you're all wanted as SAM members, that this is what the SAM is made of, is the members. So I want you to feel that we're here for you, okay? And so that's my goal, is to make sure that you're proud to be a member and you take advantage of all the member benefits, and that you also have the opportunity to give back as a member as well. So this is going to be a wonderful year. I'm in a very fortunate position that I'm following my predecessors, and they have big steps to follow. Joe Zawitsky, also I served together with him. He's the Dean of the International Assembly, past national president. He's the pandemic president. He never even got to visit Assembly in person when he was president. But what he put together, all this infrastructure to be able to do this, it's amazing. And we're going to build upon that. It's energy. And that was his theme, is we are the energy. And it takes energy to put this all together. And so it's not going to be lost. This energy is still building up. It's still accumulating. It's still recharging. It's going to, we might need bigger batteries, to keep all this energy within us. So we're going to keep that energy going. And then our current most illustrious, Tom Gentile, we do more together. And that's important, because that's what the Society of American Magicians is all about. It's about all the compeers being here, helping each other and supporting each other, encouraging each other, and sharing with each other. So we do more together is so important. So we're going to build upon that as we move into my theme of we welcome the world. And I'm going to count on you to all help in making that theme happen. So I think Darkstone and his team and all the members and all of the SAM, we're all going to be working together, putting out in that energy to welcome the world and to make the SAM a worldwide association that everyone's going to be proud of. And it's going to be bigger, better, and it's going to be more energetic than ever before. So thank you so much. And I look forward to this wonderful year ahead of me.
Thank you so much, Rod. Thank you so much indeed. It's been both an honor and a pleasure to have you on the Darkstone Dossiers. I know you've been before, as I've mentioned, but it's so nice to have you here weeks away from becoming the president. I want to very, very quickly, if I may, acknowledge in no particular order, but I think it's important that I do this. We have several members from the International Assembly here, and I would like you to introduce you to each one by name. They will say hello and tell you which region of the world they are the International Assembly envoys for. Let me begin with Michael Kelly.
Hello, Rod, and thank you, Anthony. I'm the International Assembly envoy for the Isle of Man, which is a very small place with a very big heart. It's been a great pleasure to be here tonight. Looking forward to all we do together in the year ahead as we welcome the world.
Thank you. Thank you, Michael. That's a great
Thank you,
part.
Michael.
Yes.
Like I said, no particular order. Let me jump to Kevin Peel, who is an extraordinary man who does these wonderful shows on Wednesdays called Open Mic, and always promoting the SAM, and has helped me acquire new members in England. Unstinting man who loves magic and gives freely to magic. Kevin Peel, our Assembly envoy from England, or one of them, I should say.
One of the two.
Yeah.
One of the two. Yeah. Hi there, everybody. Yeah. Hi to everyone. I'm the envoy for England. One of the two envoys.
Sitting next to you, in fact, are two very dear, long time friends of mine from Texas, Jean and Betty Protus. Jean is our Assembly envoy for Texas.
Betty,
who does a lot of work and gets out a lot of news and information and helps promote the SAM International Assembly, and will be doing so because I've given him a long list of tasks to do when he gets to Quebec, right? Because he's got a lot of jobs to do in Quebec on behalf of the SAM and indeed the SAM International Assembly. Right, Gene?
Thanks, Anthony. Yes, it's terrific. Another excellent Darkstone dossier. And congratulations, Rod. And Betty and I will be celebrating with you in a few weeks up in Canada.
Oh, thank you.
Thanks a million. Great to see everyone.
Great to see you.
Congratulations, Rod.
Thank you, Betty. Thank you so much.
Okay, and moving a little bit north from Texas, well, quite a bit north from Texas to Canada, the one and only, the great man who's helped me tremendously put the Gala show together. I can't thank him enough. Dr. Michael Leakey from Canada. Michael, put your mic on and say howdy.
I'm so excited to welcome Rod Chow as our brand new national president in just a few weeks. Grateful as well. We're both living currently in Vancouver, Canada. And most excited about next week. I am going to tease to next week and the gala show, which will be an incredible event with great talent from around the world, because truly, we do welcome the world. I'm your Assembly envoy from Canada, Dr. Michael Leakey.
Thank you, Michael. Great to see you.
Thank you, Michael.
Thanks for all you do.
Let's scoot across the world, which we often do, and that's over to Portugal, to Orimar Sarip, who is our international envoy for Portugal.
Congratulations, Rod. Thank you, Anthony. Good night for all.
Okay, that's
Thank
good.
you, Orimar. Thank you. Nice to see you. Very late for you. I know.
Thank you.
You will be seeing a little bit more of him next Saturday. As Michael said, we have an exciting cast of which he's one of the headliners. Now, of course, it would be very remiss of me to not mention one of my favorite magicians in the Nordic countries, astonishing young man. Remember his name because you will never, ever forget it. He's currently, and has been for some time, and has helped a lot in the Nordic countries. He lives in Finland, and he is, in Finnish, they're known as taikuri, which is a loose translation of magician. And that is Elmo Huvila. Elmo.
Hello. Yeah, hello from Finland. It's way past midnight here, and I enjoyed the show so much. It was great. I really liked it, and congratulations, Rod, for everything, and thank you for everything that you have been doing for the SAM.
You're welcome. Thank you, Elmer. Thank you, Elmo. Thank you for coming.
So if you're in the Nordic countries and you want to join up, that's your man to contact. I will very quickly, we have a little video to play for you. I will very quickly say a huge thank you to Peter Stevens, who is also a member of our International Assembly, for manning the gallery with Michael. They always look after these things. Tom Messerall, who's also now a member. Yeah, want to say a quick howdy, Tom?
I'm Tom Messerall, recently joined the International Assembly. Thank you, Anthony, for all that you do. Congratulations, Rod. Very happy to see you at this. Thank you.
Thank you.
Oh, thank you, Tom. Andrew Sherrod, I mentioned. You want to say a few words, Andrew?
Congratulations to Rod. Looking forward to his current year.
Thank you, Andrew.
Look at all these things. I live in the UK. Happy to be part of the International, and I've made some great friends here as well with Michael and Kevin.
Great to have you in the UK, Andrew. Thank you.
Yeah. Looking forward to it.
Thank you, Andrew. And of course, last but not least, I know it's ladies first. I know. Really, honestly, my mama brought me up right. But I did leave her to last because she is a remarkable person and shares my wonderful sense of humor and mischief, and just immediately said yes to one of the most outrageous requests I've ever made. Last year, I put a gala show together for Tom Gentile, and I said, could you make a cake? And she kind of went, okay, what do you want? So I told her, and she made it, and it was there, and we showed it on the gala show, and it really, really rocked. And that's why I left it to last, not because, my mama didn't bring me up right, like I said, but because I really wanted to say a few things about her. She's an amazing, amazing lady, has been incredibly wonderful in so many ways I cannot even begin to tell you, and that is Donna Horn. Yeah. Did you want to say a few words, Donna, or are you happy to just wave?
Hi, Anthony.
Oh, hi.
Thank you for all that you do. And I appreciate that. And congratulations, Rod.
Thank you, Donna. Nice to see you here.
Nice to know more about you. It's a great show.
Thank you, Donna. Thank you.
Well, I try to show up for all the shows.
Right.
I'm actually going to be able to give Rod an extra congratulatory hug this next Friday, and the tour of his building, the world's narrowest building. I'm really excited to be able to see you face to face. So I'm going to pass along the hug, not only from the Texans, but from the rest of y'all that haven't been to Vancouver yet.
Yeah,
it's
so
very
great.
exciting.
So great that PJ is actually going to come out here and visit me in person. Thank you, PJ. I'm looking forward to our hug.
Well, time is not on our side. We don't have a lot of it left. It would be remiss of me, in fact, if I keep saying my mama did bring me up, right? But there's one other lady here. She is a member of the SAM, and for whatever reason, I can't think. We'll have to talk to Kevin about this. She does some wonderful performances on the open mic magic show every Wednesday. And that is a remarkable lady called Robina.
A wonderful term. I am also very active with the Society of World Deaf Magicians. So if you would like any assistance when you join that group, I am glad to be there for you. But congratulations. We certainly look forward to the new term and bringing the world together and making it a better place.
Thank you, Ovina. Thank you so much. What a lovely setting you have there too. I like it.
And last but not least, with a splendid backdrop of the old magic circle back in the Shanies Muse days. Man, that was great then. It's great now, I can tell you. But it was great then. The one and only. I love this man, and there's no lie. He's probably everybody's favorite magician. If you've seen him perform, yeah, that's it. If you want to feel like a layperson, this is the man who makes you feel like a layperson. And that's wonderful, John O'Riordan. Hello, John. Do you want to say a few words?
Thank you, Anthony, and thanks for these wonderful nights for me to tune in and meet people across the world. And congratulations.
Thank you, Jonathan.
John, for you don't know, is one of our headliners in the gala show. Our current most illustrious Tom Gentile, who I'm sure will want to say a few words.
It's been an incredible year. We've put more together this year. Anthony has put together an excellent international assembly. Through it all, we all come together. We welcome the world. We are the SAM as one.
Thank you.
I would like to share with everybody a brief video of what you can expect. Some of the cast are actually here.
And Anthony, I want to say that you can now buy your very own T-shirt. We welcome the world. Rod sold this one. Rod sold this one to me for $200, but you can get it a lot cheaper now.
Yeah, you can.
Yeah,
and I'm told that Rod will personally sign the T-shirt at Quebec. Am I right, Rod?
I will. Right on the Canada there.
I was wondering when you're going to put that up, Joel. I sent it to you, and I said we'll find an appropriate time.
That's a good one.
Yeah.
Two masked men.
If you want to just jump in and say something to Rod or chat to me or to Joel or anybody else on here.
Joel, how do we get the T-shirts?
It's actually at the Teespring store on SAM, but I believe there's a link at the Quebec 2022 site as well. And yeah, we do have a great team here with SAM, and then also my national officer board. It's tremendous people that are on the board. We have President-elect John Stirk. We have John Midgley, who's moving up into first VP, and we have Matthew Crabtree, and he's going to be moving up into second VP. And of course, we have Marlene Clark, who has always been there as secretary, and then we have our treasurer that keeps our money in check, Eric Lampert, and our national administrator, Mano Rodriguez. So we have a great team, and I'm very confident that together we're going to do well for everyone here.
Hey, Rod, can I ask a personal question?
Yes.
I'm looking down the hallway. Is that a mirror? Is that a mirror? Am I seeing that? Or
no,
no,
this is actually, you're seeing the full view. There's no mirror there. There's no illusion. It actually stretches way beyond my point right here. It's the narrowest building in the world. It's actually a very long building. So it's the widest building from the front, actually. It's actually a whole city block in length, even though it's only 4 feet 10 inches in depth. So, and then even the underground area, it actually extends beyond the building. It actually extends almost like a tunnel under the sidewalk beyond the building. So that's why it's so long. So it actually stretches way beyond, even beyond that point, it actually stretches even further. Yeah, it's amazing. And then there was a comment on the floor. It actually is the 3D floor. Well, actually, the thing is, no, actually, we do have this light show. So actually,
really? Oh, wow.
The whole thing lights up. It does. It's an incredible light show. The whole thing dances. It's actually a synchronized light show with music this whole sidewalk, this last sidewalk lights up. So, and the whole building lights up. Actually, we won an international award for our synchronized light show here. So actually what you're seeing here is no illusion. It's what it is. If you look on the other side of the camera, there is a bit of illusion there. So we won't show you this. We won't show you that this time. Maybe next time we'll show you that. Back in 1913, they built this building like a mini skyscraper because it's very hard to build a skinny building because the footings, like you say, you've only got so much footing here, and then you engineer it. You don't engineer properly, this little bit of footing and you're top heavy, the building is going to collapse, right? Yeah. So this building is not attached to any other building, but it's so well structured into the ground with these pillars in the middle that even that bit of top heaviness does not affect the building stability.
Is there some sort of web link where we can see the building?
You can go to jackchow.com. It's actually our website, jackchow.com. And there it is. There's a picture of the building right there. So that's the building there. Joe's actually pulled it up. So you see that there's the Jack Chow Insurance sign there. It's actually a neon sign. And it's one of the few neon signs left in Chinatown. Chinatown used to have a lot of neon signs, but we actually put this one here. It's a very iconic sign. But what makes the sign famous, and I tell everyone this, it's the only sign in the world that's wider than the building itself. Yeah. And we added this center glass section there. You can see in the center. That's where the main light show is happening, where the whole upper part of that ceiling is neon lights that actually have multiple channels that will dance with music. Yeah. And staircase also lights up. The staircase is a glass staircase that also has neon that's synchronized as well. I actually designed the light show and with help of course professional light engineers, but our work has made it famous actually.
Rod, mention how you service people from the streets.
Oh yeah, good point there, Glenn. If you look at that picture, there's actually window wicket service. So we actually didn't have to close one single day because we actually had those window wickets, and you see 4 of them on each side of the main, 2 on each side for a total of 4. And we actually serve people off of the street so that they're very safe, properly socially distanced so that we can actually have 4 in operation at the same time, and glass enclosed with theater style speaker intercom system. So it's a professional theater speaker system. So we actually, it's like a ticket booth. So we can actually talk to the people very freely, 2-way talking. And then there's a stainless steel counter where they can put their insurance documents on. There's a pass-through where they can actually pass us money, because sometimes we collect money, people buy insurance. They have to pay money for insurance sometimes. So they put the money through this slot and then back through the same slot, we give them their insurance documents.
Well, ladies and gentlemen, I think we've come to this wonderful point. Thank you all for being here. Huge thanks to Michael Kelly and Peter Stevens for manning the gallery, to all our International Assembly members, our Assembly envoys, and indeed for everybody else that's showing up. Happy to help anybody who's interested to come into the SAM and the International Assembly. So thank you again. I will leave the last words to Rod, and then Zoommeister, our Dean, will take us off the air.
Thank you, Anthony, for hosting this Darkstone Dossiers and giving me the opportunity to share a bit of my life with everyone here. And I look forward to meeting everyone either virtually or in person, and we're going to have a great year. So we welcome the world. We do more together. We are the energy. So let's keep that SAM energy up and go for it.
Yeah, be there next week. We got a big gala show. You saw the promo. So I'll be posting all the Zoom. Show up. Bring your friends and family. There's no exposure or nothing. It's a family gala show. It's just great magic. You've seen the cast. Yeah, come watch it. That's it. Over to our Zoom Meister and all around Tavarich and Dean and man of many talents and the Wayne Mansion.
We'll see you all next week.